Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Fourth Down Focus. This is week 6 predictions now. We're really starting to get through it. That's a third of a way into the season, if my maths is correct. I think so. We are here. I think James has got the question this week.
I do, yeah.
Yeah.
And because it's me, I've even made a little graphic for you.
Oh, wow.
Just to make it a little bit easier so you can have a read. So there you go. Quarterback is 30, wide receiver 1 is 22, running back is 26. I thought this might be an easy one, to be honest, but I don't know. We'll see. Okay, you've not guessed it instantly, so I'm happy that it wasn't a dreadful
current start.
Keen's lagging again, guys.
Keen's on a huge one, as you can probably tell.
Well, if we're counting injuries, is it the Buccaneers?
No, not the Panthers.
Neither. No. Yeah, Bryce Young's 30, to be fair.
For some reason, I thought Sam Darnold was still a Panther.
I like Keen's shout was what I thought you might guess, because I think more because of the wide receiver 1, and you would have disputed that was a Mecca and Booker. But...
No, because the run of Bucky Irvin's not 26. I was going to say Bucks as well. You caught me off guard. I preferred that. Can we go back to the college one?
I thought this would be easy. I can't lie.
It's really thrown me off. I'm going to have to edit bits of this out again like I did last episode. It's taking too long. But I will get it.
I'm very surprised it's taking you this long, I'll be real. Especially with the wide receiver 1. I thought that would give it away. That's the best advice I can give, is focus on the wide receiver 1, because there aren't many wide receiver 1s that are 22.
I'm trying to think of young ones.
Whoa.
Pause.
Yeah, as am I.
I didn't think we would get one that would take longer than yesterday's.
No, I thought you'd get this almost instantly, to be honest.
Chargers.
No. If man is not 30.
What the fuck? I'm just gonna have to start naming fucking
There genuinely isn't. This is not including injuries, by the way, if that helps.
This has really thrown me off. Chiefs.
CeeDee Lamb's too old.
It's the Chiefs.
Chiefs.
Yes.
Patrick Mahomes is 30. Xavier Worthy is 22, and Isaiah Pacheco is 26.
Right, for the viewers, I don't know how much I'm going to cut out of that, but we're 4 minutes into this video now.
I can't believe it took you that long.
Yeah, that was terrible effort.
Wow. Yeah, Mahomes 30, Worthy 22, and Isaiah Pacheco is 26. I genuinely thought 22 would be such an easy guess.
Worthy just didn't come to mind.
Right, and with that, we'll move on to the predictions. So first up, fucking hell. Yeah, this again, fucking brilliant. They've put us on prime time because the NFL is actively trying to get me to kill myself. Yeah, someone else start, because I really don't want to. Max, you go first, man. I'm not doing this.
I'll go first. This is right. You're gonna have to hear me out here. I didn't straight away go for the Eagles because they were also garbage last week. So, obviously, the Eagles should really be winning this, but I wouldn't be surprised if I got caught off guard by another surprise win, like the Chargers won again. The Eagles aren't that impressive at the minute, which is funny because 2 weeks ago I said they're winning the Super Bowl again. But yeah, I don't know. Last week they really put me off. I don't know.
Yeah, I just fucking can't. I'm not having another crash out on the podcast because I did that on the One Thing with them video. If you want to go watch that, feel free. Just fucking hell. I'm just imagining our entire offense against this Eagles defense. Darius Slayton's now out, which means our wide receiver room consists of Wan'Dale Robinson, Bo Collins, and Jalen Hyatt.
Who the fuck is Bo Collins?
Precisely. An undrafted rookie from this year is your answer. So fuck knows who Jackson Dart's going to throw the ball to. Probably fucking Quinyon Mitchell 4 times. I just don't see a world where this is anything but an Eagles win. There is no logical reason that I could ever back us again this season after losing to the Saints. And hopefully, if they're going to beat us, I hope it's just a fucking blowout so Daboll and Co get sacked, because they're still going to have a job at Thursday, which is actually baffling after what happened on Saturday. But just my my just one question to the NFL is, please, for the love of fuck, stop putting us on primetime because I don't want to watch us. So stop putting it on television. Cheers, Kian.
I did have to laugh at Dayball coming out, and I realised there's a big delay. None of the viewers are going to see this, but Dayball came out and said that AJ Brown's always open, and that really, really made me laugh because it was just to piss him off a little bit. Sometimes you do get upsets in these rivalry games. I don't think this is going to be one of them. I just think the Eagles are going to be pissed off as well after losing that game the other day. So that's why I've gone for the Eagles.
We're playing a pissed off Eagles team with fucking Daniel Bellinger being our leading receiver last week. It's just not going to end well. It's going to be a fucking disaster. And I hope that they just fucking, I don't know, ram the team bus off the road or something after this game because I can't be fucked with this stupid franchise anymore. Next, the Jets versus the Broncos, and this is going to be a pattern throughout this video. There's quite a lot of agreement between us on the predictions because even if you try to be edgy, you just look like a fucking idiot. So, yeah, we've sort of gone fairly similar this week. I'll start. I think it's pretty easy on this one again. The Jets just got battered by the Cowboys, and the Cowboys aren't very good. So it sort of just is a recipe for disaster playing a team that just beat the Eagles and limited them to very little amount of points. I still feel for Justin Fields. The guy's doing all he can. It's just a shame the rest of his team is utter garbage. The Broncos defense is back to where it should be. I think after that Eagles game, it's where they should, the sort of game they could win based on their defense, and they did. So I think they shouldn't have too many issues playing the Jets because there's just nothing exciting about the New York Jets, and they will be 0-6 if they lose this game. I believe they are the only team in the NFL yet to win a game, I believe. So that's
Have they not won a game?
I don't think they have, no.
I'm going to double check that. I swear they won one.
I saw something on Tankathon, they were 0-5. Again, it could have been a fake screenshot, but I don't remember them winning a game.
No, they are 0-5, yeah.
Yeah, so they could very likely be 0-6 after this week, and yeah, fucking hell. Max?
Yeah, I mean, you've covered most of it, really. I mean, last episode I said that Mark Sanchez is getting sentenced to 3 more years with the Jets instead of prison time. That's how bad the Jets are. And Denver just shut out. Well, they didn't shut them out, but they got a win over the Super Bowl champs. It's that simple, really. Denver haven't looked quite as impressive as they did last year so far this season, but there's been signs, there's been flashes of it. And in a division that's wide open, they need to pick up wins in these kind of games if they want a chance of winning it, which they could do. So, yeah, it's pretty straightforward. The Jets are 0-5, as I just discovered. I thought they'd won at least one game, but no, never mind.
Ian?
This game feels like a bit of a punishment to London. I think the Blitz was more exciting. It's a pretty poor game. It's got
it's London, yeah, fucking hell.
But, I just see no way the Jets win this game. They're not a very good team. Like you said, Fields is doing all he can, but that is literally all he can do. There's nothing else. There's just a poor side. I just see no way the Broncos do not win this game. So give me Denver reluctantly.
Yeah, this game is that bad that I forgot it was the London game. Even though I've had like 400 notifications from Twickets on my phone about this game in the last 3 days, I've still forgotten this is the London game. Yes, it is the second London game. Unfortunately for everyone involved, just pray for the Jets because, just not good. It's going to be a rough one if you're a Jets fan in the UK and you've been waiting to see your team play in the flesh. I'd probably wait a little bit longer and leave it this year because it's going to be interesting. Next up, as I said, the pattern continues. Another sort of clean sweep on this one. The Dolphins versus the Chargers. We've all gone with the Chargers. I am very tempted to flip this. I can't lie, but after the Panthers result, I don't think I can justify it. But I'll let you go first, Max.
I also toyed with this one for a little bit, although I did have to quickly make my predictions because, like I said, we didn't really plan to do this video today, and then boom, we're doing it now. Although it'll probably come out tomorrow. Chargers. I think after 2 back-to-back losses, in the kind of the same way as what I said about the Broncos, this division is wide open. We all thought it'd be really competitive, and it is, but not in the way that we thought it would be. We all thought they'd all be getting wins, and all of the teams, especially Kian's beloved Raiders, are getting battered at the minute. So, the same thing. Chargers need a win here against Miami, who are dog shit. and they keep collapsing in every game. Although Darren Waller, the rapper, for some reason, is going off after coming back out of retirement. So I mean, I'll probably put him on the parlay, as the Americans call it.
It is quite funny that Darren Waller was that sick of the Giants, he fucking retired, and now he comes back and he's actually quite good. Says a lot about our organization, really. Yeah, I am still very tempted. I don't know. If they'd beaten the Panthers last week, I probably would have gone Dolphins here. I just can't justify picking a team that lost to the Carolina Panthers in anything, really. Just the Chargers have been pretty poor, all things considered. In the last 2 games, obviously 2 losses in a row. That Commanders game was bad. I think even Marshall Lattimore got like a pick or something, which shows how bad you actually were if he's doing something on defense, because he's been dreadful. But I think I'm going to stick with the Chargers. It feels stupid not to. As much as they've lost 2 games, they're going to be fuming. They've lost 2 games in a row. So they're going to really want to win this one. So I think they'll bounce back and move to 4-2 and keep the pressure on the Chiefs to keep playing catch up on them, who also have a very tough game this week, which we'll get onto. But Kian?
Just before I start this prediction, I've got to say that Max saying that my beloved Raiders, that's literally like saying Germany's beloved dictator. I detest them. Do you know what I mean? But apart from that,
They liked the
game.
dictator, didn't they?
It's a poor game again. No, not in the end, they didn't. But yeah, I just think that the Chargers are going to have too much for them. The Dolphins really, really cocked up last week. And I think that McDaniels could go if they lose this one. Hypothetical man will win this one and everyone will start raving about them being a great team again. But up until now, they've not really shown it. But give me the Chargers for this game. But it's a terrible game. I don't want to see it on Red Zone once.
I can never actually call the Chargers a good team again after they lost to us.
Have you seen the outrage of the picture where Justin Herbert's kissing Madison? I'm not going to say her name again because you're going to laugh at me when I get it wrong.
Madison what?
Madison Beer. Is that it?
Yeah.
Yeah, his missus. There's a picture of him kissing his missus, right? and he's got his eyes open, and everyone's like, "Oh my!" He kisses with his eyes open. He's not. He's just an elite quarterback, and he's watching for the corner blitz at every moment. He's ready for it. He's a dedicated professional. That's a Super Bowl champion in the making right now.
And on that note, I'll move on. We actually have a bit of differential.
Analyzing kisses.
That's what this podcast has come to, mate. We're not going to talk about our own teams, are we? The fucking dog shit.
Yeah, very fair point. Yeah, next up, we have a bit of differential for once. The Jags versus the Seahawks. 2 pretty good teams, all things considered, so it should be quite a decent game. Again, not something I thought I'd be saying 5-6 weeks into the season about the Jags and the Seahawks playing each other. But here we are. Max, I'll let you go first, as you've been the one to go different here, which, again, I'm not going to say it's exactly a shocking decision.
I agree with what you said, that if you asked a few weeks ago if this would probably be potential game of the week, to be honest, in this current week of fixtures we got. It's not the most exciting week, I'll be honest. No one would have thought that this could be game of the week, but I think the Jags definitely on good form. You know, I picked them last week against the Chiefs, and that come true. But I think the Seahawks are a better team than the Chiefs, despite losing last week. I think they lost to a team who could genuinely push for the Super Bowl in the books this season. So I think the Seahawks will want to bounce back from that, keep up their good form in a very tough division at the minute when even the 49ers are still somehow winning with a team held together by bandages and paper clips. So, yeah, give me the Seahawks.
Yeah, I've gone Jags, Peter, because I've raved about them on like every episode, so I sort of have to keep the faith and keep it going. I also just do think they will win this game. It was very close. It's probably the one that took me the most time to decide on, because I can really see it going either way. The Seahawks have been really good, as Max said, barely losing to one of the best teams in the NFL last week, which I think is fair to say about the Bucs now. At least, you know, in that elite sort of category, it's not exactly a loss to be too ashamed of. And they weren't even bad. 35 points. It's hard to lose when you put that many points. When in most other games it would be more than enough to win. But I just think with the Jags, they're just getting better and better every week. And, you know, coming off a huge win against the Chiefs, I think that's going to be massive for their confidence as well. I feel like, you know, there's nothing better you can do than beat a team like the Chiefs to bring it into the following week. Also, I think if the Jags are 5-1, then we have a very serious contender for the playoffs. As I said a couple of weeks ago, I think it'll be cement. I think this is the sort of game that will make or break my opinion on whether the Jags make the playoffs or not, whether they win this or not. Because I think if they win this 5-1, you find it hard to see them not making the playoffs without a monumental collapse in the second half of the season. 4-2, it becomes a bit more of a question of where do you go from here. Obviously, with a tough game in London next week as well, it's going to be interesting to see because I feel like they need to win this one to push them forward. Kian?
Yeah, James made a good point there, to be fair, about this being a bit like a make or break game. I think it's a massive one. You know, they made a point on Monday, beating the Chiefs. If they go and win this game as well, then they are going to be seen as a serious contender. I sort of flirted with this one. It was a pretty tough one to actually predict. But I just thought, I've gone against the Jags. I believe if we go off my predictions, they're 0-5. So I feel like I should probably back them at some point. So, yeah, give me the Jags because I don't think I've backed them once this season and they've been doing really well.
I also think if the Jags win this game, I mean, this could already be the case, but if the Jags win this game, then definitely Liam Cohen's probably going to end up in head coach of the year talks.
Yeah, definitely. It was so obvious when he came in, it was going to be a good thing for the Jags, and they've needed a coach like that for a very long time. And
I don't think it was obvious because I saw that Duval clip and I was like, this is going to get memed as soon as he gets fired.
that screamed 10 wins, mate. I don't know what you're talking about.
It did not. It screamed sex offender.
On that note, before we get a defamation thing, I'm going to move on.
Liam Cohen's a great guy. He's a great guy.
Yeah, Max is blindly backing the Browns again. This has worked
so
well for him. The rest of
this
has worked so well for Max in other parts of the season where he's got it wrong every single fucking time.
Welcome back to Max has a little bit of faith in his team, which these two don't know anything about. Okay, Steelers. Okay, they're just coming off a bye week, so all the momentum they had, it's been killed. They've not played a game. Aaron Rodgers, he needs to keep. He's an old man. He's going to seize up if you don't play. He's like a car that you don't turn on for a while. You leave it and it goes dodgy. Can't drive it. So, it's just, either way, this is going to be a horrible game to watch. I wouldn't recommend anyone watches it. If you're a Pittsburgh or a Cleveland fan, don't bother. Just watch another game. Seahawks, Jags, that'll be a better game. But I think we can win like 10 points to 7 because we always seem to manage at least one win over the Steelers. And this will be my Super Bowl. Because we don't get to the real one, obviously, and this is the game we have to win for me. We need to get the team. You get the team ready, get Dylan Gabriel fired up. Get everyone ready and just fucking do something. I don't know. It's gonna be such a fucking bad game.
How do you need to win? For what reason?
Because it's Pittsburgh. We fucking hate Pittsburgh, so we should go kick their asses.
Yeah, no, for the voice of reason, as per every time Max backs the Browns and me.
Typical James. Here's the voice of reason. Shut up. You're not even winning predictions.
I'm not backing the fucking Browns. You're last, that there is a reason, and this is why you keep fucking losing.
You picked the Titans like 5 weeks in a row.
And it worked.
Once.
It worked eventually. It's worked more times when you back the Browns, put it that way.
Sure. We've still got as many wins as the Giants. Shut your fucking mouth.
Yeah, but we're shit. Anyway, yeah, I've gone with the Steelers. I just think, just common sense prevails on this one. The bye week is interesting. I was tempted a bit with the Browns purely because the Steelers' offense hasn't been extremely exciting. And the Browns' defense has shown at times it can be all right, apart from they played Detroit and they just fell to pieces. But I think it's just going to come down to quality versus quality, and the Steelers' defense is also pretty good, which means the Browns' offense is going to struggle, I think, in this one. Dylan Gabriel was fine against the Vikings, but their defense has not been great this year, nowhere near to the level it was last year. And I think, they basically just run off Quinshon Judkins, and the Steelers are quite good at shutting down the run. So I think if they can shut him down, I think Gabriel being forced to throw is going to end a disaster. I can see an interception at least once from Gabriel in this one, and I think the Steelers it'll be a low scoring game. Because neither offense is particularly amazing. I could see it being like a 2017 win for the Steelers, something like that.
Lump on the game under, whatever it is.
Whatever the under is, take it.
Put your mortgage on it. Gamble responsibly. Put your entire mortgage on it.
Kid.
I was like I wasn't really flirting with it, but I was looking at the idea that the Browns have played in London, and then they, for some reason, haven't got that bye week. Usually, your London teams get the bye week after, whereas the Browns are playing straight away. That's a lot of adapting back to US lifestyle, US time sort of thing, which can't be good for preparation. And they need all the preparation they can get in this sort of game. So I just struggle to see a world in which they win this. The Steelers are well rested. They've had a bit of time off. And I just think they've got more quality. So give me the Steelers.
Max fuming, so we'll move on. The Panthers versus the Cowboys, and no one fell for the Bryce Young hype this time. We've all unfortunately gone with the Cowboys, even though it's a shit organization. Yeah, I'll go first. I just think they beat the Jets, and I pretty much regard the Jets in a similar light to the Panthers. Just not a very good team. The Panthers aren't as bad, and they have their moments where they look pretty good. But again, beating the Dolphins isn't exactly a difficult task at the minute. And the Falcons win was just weird, so I'm not sure. With the Panthers, I just don't think. I think the Cowboys are coming off a pretty good result, all things considered. I don't know when CD's back. I don't know if it's this week or if it's soon, but if he is back this week, that's also a massive boost. But George Pickens is obviously performing pretty well.
As a CD fantasy owner, it says he's questionable, so he's gone from out to questionable. Okay. So he's close to coming back. I'm praying that he comes back.
So he might be back this week. If so, that'll reaffirm my prediction 100%. But I'm still going to go with the Cowboys. I just think, again, quality to quality. There's so much more quality on this Cowboys team. Dak's having a really good year. I think the defense is crap, but it doesn't have to be amazing to beat the Panthers. So I think they'll be fine. I can't see the Panthers putting up more points than the Jets did, and I think the Cowboys have the potential to go put quite a lot of points on this Panthers defense. So I'm going with the Cowboys. Max?
Basically everything you just said, apart from this could actually be a bit of a fun game if Bryce decides to turn up at all. I don't know, or Rico Dowdle could go fucking crazy again. It's his former team as well.
I hope not.
Last season. You hope not.
I just traded him away in fantasy, so I hope not.
Well, I might still be starting Dak. I'm assuming Lamar's still out this week, so I might still be starting Dak. So I need Dak to drop 40 points again. That'd be very nice. Yeah, I don't think it's much of a contest. Like I said on the last video, Dallas and the offense having a good season. I don't think the record reflects that as well, because they've had obviously the tie, which makes any record look ugly. I don't like them. So yeah, give me the Dallas.
Just to answer your question, Lamar's status for Sunday is very much in doubt. So
let's go, Dak. Here we go.
Everything that needs to be said has already been said. So I'm just going to say I'm rooting for the Cowboys in this one, and we can move on because there's not much more for me to say.
Why the fuck are you rooting for the Cowboys, you weirdo?
That is my best friend right there. He knows that I'm going for a pint after this, and he's trying to speed up the process. That's why.
Yeah, ages, mate. You're fine. Next up, the Ravens, as we just spoke about, versus the Rams. Lamar Jackson looks like he's going to miss out on this one again, so it's Cooper Rush season yet again for the Ravens, and that didn't tend to end well for the Cowboys last year. The Rams, I mean, I'll go first again. I think the Rams are going to be pissed off coming off a pretty disappointing loss against the 49ers. And the last thing you want to do is face a pissed off Sean McVay and a pissed off Rams defense, because it probably won't end well for you, especially when the Texans just put 44 points on your head the week before. Defensive injuries are killing the Ravens at the minute. I don't know what the status is like for Kyle Hamilton and the players who missed out last week, but I can't imagine many of them will be back, if any. I don't know how severe their injuries were. I just know they were out last week. So I guess we'll find out on that sooner rather than later. But the Rams, they're such a good team. I was very surprised to lose to the 49ers. And again, as a team I back to be in the Super Bowl this year, I sort of have to keep backing them in some things. So I'm going to go with the Rams. I backed the Ravens last week trying to be edgy, and it just failed miserably. So I'm not going to make the same mistake 2 weeks in a row, and I'm going to stick with common sense and the Rams to hopefully put them in a very good place as well, which, as we mentioned a lot of times on the podcast, will set up a very nice game at Wembley next weekend for us all to watch. Max?
If my predictions are right this week, which, it's rare, but I did go 14-2 the other week. Sometimes I'm right. The Browns will have a better record going into week 7 than the Ravens. And that's a beautiful thing. That is a beautiful, beautiful thing. The Ravens, I don't know if anyone else seen yesterday, but I don't know what they're doing. They've picked up Gardner Johnson, another safety for some reason. And then they also, I believe they acquired Alohi Gilman in the trade that they made last night with the Chargers, I believe it was, for Dafe Owe. They traded him away. So they've now got like 4 pretty solid safeties on the roster. I don't know why, but fair enough. That's not going to save them in this game. I think Sean McVay is going to put on more hair gel than anyone has ever put on their head. He's going to be drowning in it, and he's going to draw up some crazy plays and get back from last week against a battered Ravens side. Although if it is anything like last week, then the Ravens should win because they're the injured team, and we all thought that the 49ers were going to fall apart because of that, and they didn't. So I don't know. Give me the Rams.
Kian?
The Ravens, I referred to them on yesterday, as BDI, and I don't think they're that good. I struggle to see a way in which they win the game with the amount of injuries they've got. And I think, as Max mentioned, Geled is going to be well up for this one. And I just think that the Rams are a good team. And the Ravens currently are not, as they're on the same record as us. Oh my God, he's got the Oasis shit on.
Sorry, I just thought it was good timing, that's all.
That's the old perfect timing, mate. So yeah, give me the Rams because I struggle to see a way in which the Ravens are going to win this game with Cooper Rush under center.
I also struggle to see a planet where the Rams lose 2 games in a row in the regular season. I just can't see it happening. I bet they'll be glad that Lamar is out because they probably would have been at risk of that otherwise. Next up, the Saints versus the Patriots. Again, after them beating the Bills, I feel like this one was pretty straightforward, Max.
I actually thought someone was going to take the Saints here. I wasn't, obviously, because I'm big on the Patriots. I'm big on Drake May. And they are going to finish in a wildcard position this season. And you all laughed at me, but you won't be laughing come week 18 when they are confirmed as a playoff team. Once again, what's Travion Henderson got to do to get the ball? I think I'm more likely to start at running back than him at the minute. But they keep going with Ramondre for some reason. I mean, he got a touchdown last week, but he also fumbles the ball about 5 times a game. So I'm confused with the running game. They don't really have a very good, reliable running game. But Drake May is doing enough to get wins, and I think they should walk this game against the Saints, to be honest.
Yeah, fuck the Saints. They ruined my entire fucking franchise, so they can fuck off. Travion has hilariously predicted 12 points on fantasy this week, which I think is just, yeah.
Are they watching the games?
Are
they watching the Patriots games? Yeah. You get in?
Evidently not. They also predicted DeMarcado 16 points this week after barely touching the ball last week and doing what he did on the goal line. So that's just.
I know he's on waivers.
Yeah, someone could take him because I'm really glad it wasn't me last week. I'm just going. I can't not back a team that just beat the Bills against the team that's shite and beat a Make-A-Wish team last week. Just the Saints. So they get their one win against the Giants, which again is literally like the well done he's 13 thing. I just don't see a world where the Patriots can lose after a win like that. It must be huge for the confidence and everything involved. And the Saints are shite as much as last week. We didn't make them look shit because obviously we could fucking, I don't even know, mate. You could probably drag like Tony Romo out of retirement at like wherever all the years, put him on any roster and he'd look good against the fucking Giants defense, honestly.
How has this turned into a round about the Giants? They're not involved in this game.
Yeah, but I'm just getting PTSD from the Saints, mate. I'll be honest. Just seeing the Saints logo is that's why I'm glad no one predicted them because I had to stare at it for 5 minutes. I might just hang myself. I'm going with the Patriots. Drake May has been very, very good, and I think it should be relatively easy for him this week against a pretty dire team. All things considered.
The Patriots kind of remind me of the Bills a few years ago. Obviously not quite as good, but they've got a young rookie, well, not rookie anymore, a young QB who's shown a lot of promise and signs of high talent. And then they've got Stephon Diggs, who was a Bill a few years ago. And then just a few, like, not big name receivers that, like, you'd think about being good, but they can get the job done. And then a decent defense, I suppose. It's not the greatest. They could still really do better with that. But they got Christian Gonzalez. What more do you want? I don't know what that point will lead into. It just come to my mind, to be honest.
Kid?
I haven't a fucking clue how this Patriots team lost to the Raiders in week 1. Because the trajectory we've both gone on since is honestly impressive. But that being said, I think you mentioned about the Rams, how you don't see a world in which they lose 2 games in a row. I don't see a world in which the Saints win 2 games in a row, especially with their roster and everything. I think that New England are just a better team. As you mentioned, they're going to be very confident coming off the back of a win against one of the better teams in the league, a team I've got making the Super Bowl in the Bills. So I just think, they'll get this job done, and probably pretty easily as well.
Next up, we have the Colts versus the Cardinals. And again, I think this was probably a fairly straightforward one for all of us. We have all gone with the Colts. Max, do you want to start us off?
I think that the Colts could just field Jonathan Taylor on his own, and he'd still score a few touchdowns past Arizona, to be honest. I think this might have been the easiest pick of the entire week, to be honest. The Cardinals I don't know what's going on there. They are cursed, and the Colts are everyone thought that the Colts this year were going to be like I don't know, the Colts last year, but they're more like the Vikings last year. Like they're the surprise team that's going to look like they're going to do it, and then they're probably going to get into the playoffs and get bounced by like the Chiefs. But it's an exciting ride to watch, I suppose, for anyone not called James Fleming.
Thanks for the preface of this is not an exciting watch for me. It's fucking horrendous. I really don't want to back the Colts, but I really just can't not, because the Cardinals just lost to the fucking Titans, and anyone loses to the Titans automatically will not be backed by me again, probably for the rest of the season, unless they play the Titans again. Just no. I don't want them to win. I really hope the Cardinals win because it'd be fucking hilarious. But the Colts have been good. It really pains me to say it. They really have. Bloody for Specky mate, whatever his name is, fucking Smacker Eyes. He's doing quite well, isn't he? So unfortunately for me, I really wish he was shit. I don't know why he's not, because it's not like he ever showed promise in his time with us. He was garbage the entire time. Even in the playoff, he usually leaned on Saquon and got through it. But yeah, I think that this should be a fairly easy win for them. I can't see the Cardinals putting up much of a fight. They literally gave the game away against probably, a fair argument for the worst team in the entire league. And I think it should be a pretty easy walkover for the Colts. But then again, this screams one of them games that we'll just get a random upset in for no reason whatsoever. So come back to this. We've all completely, fully backed the Colts with 100% security, and the Cardinals win by 20 points or some shit. Kian?
Yeah, again, I struggle to see a way that the Colts lose this game. They've been really, really good. I don't think any of us expected it. The Cardinals obviously threw that one away, as you've mentioned. It was I still don't really know how that touchdown is still one of the funniest things I've ever seen. I just think, when you're a team like that, you're a team that's almost in a bit of disarray. I struggle to see a way in which you're going to beat a team who at the minute are, I believe, the 1 seed in the AFC. So give me the Colts because they've just looked really good.
Why are they the 1 seed in the AFC, man? Fucking hell. What's happened to the game I used to love? This game's gone.
You had no problem with the Colts until Daniel Jones started playing.
Yeah, but I have no issue with the Colts still. I just have an issue with Daniel Jones having success. I don't care about the Colts. It's got nothing. It could be anyone. It's nothing personal against the Colts. I don't dislike any other part of their roster. It's just him. If he wasn't on the roster, I'd be well happy.
Not really that good.
If he was on any of the roster, I'd be happy. I'd be happy for the Colts to do so well. But because it's him,
he didn't mention that yesterday, by the way. Anthony Richardson got into the Colts game.
He did. That's how bad the Raiders were. They let Anthony Richardson into the game. Next up, and wow, I mean, fucking hell. The Las Vegas Raiders versus the Tennessee Titans, and I think probably the first time in this podcast history, and probably the last time in this podcast history, we've all backed the Titans. I'll start. I've been backing the Titans a couple of times this season, and it finally paid off for me last week with a big win against the Cardinals, which they've desperately needed. It stopped Cam Ward calling his own team arse in a press conference again, so that's handy. The fact the Raiders are going to lose to a team whose quarterback has literally called them shite is going to be hilarious. But I am very tempted to flip this because I feel like I'm just going off the pure nostalgia of the Titans. I've got my prediction right last week, and I'm not actually thinking logically about this. I also think it's mental that the Titans have a big chance to win 2 games in a row. I think if you told anyone that after 2 weeks, you would have laughed in the face. But here we are. I am tempted to flip it. I'll let you two go with your points, and then I'll sort of maybe decide if I'm going to flip this or not. But I feel after Keane's depression pit in a minute, I'll let Max go first. But after Keane's depression pit, it's going to sway me firmly away from predicting the Raiders.
I'm just intrigued to know how you managed to get nostalgia from something that happened 3 days ago. That's quite impressive, honestly. But I was on the fence about this one because I feel like we are just going based off mainly last week because the Titans have also been really bad this season and they've managed to get a win. This might be a worse game than the Steelers and the Browns. I can't lie. If there's going to be a worse game, this is the one. I also never thought I'd see the day we all back to the Titans, especially not this season. But I mean, here it is. I might have to go through the old episodes and see if we've ever done that before, but I doubt it.
We definitely haven't. I can tell you that you don't need to go back through the episodes. We haven't done that.
I'm not going to flip my pick because watching the Raiders last week was like, I felt bad for Keane, which I like. Normally when your teams are laughing, I'll like laugh. But nah, I can't. That was so bad.
I will say the Titans in 2 weeks have gone from their quarterback literally calling them shite in an interview to us all backing them unanimously in the game.
Yeah, it's the Raiders though. They're terrible.
Kian?
24th of April 2020, I sent a message. It says, very excited to watch you play for the Silver and Black, man. Go get it. That was to a man who is now in prison for manslaughter. And that was the last time I remember being excited about this organization. And that really tells you all you need to know. I mean, I'll let him put the picture on the screen of that message. But yeah, we've just been terrible ever since. I don't really understand how Geno Smith is so bad because he was actually solid in Seattle. I don't understand what's happened. Are we the problem? Yes, probably. Gentry, again, I mentioned it yesterday. Gentry's looked good, but you know, this is just bare bones me picking at stuff to be excited about. Luke Combs is playing at the Allegiant Stadium. That's exciting. But apart from that, as an organization, we're just shite. We should never have moved to Vegas. It's a terrible, terrible decision. And to be honest with you, I'm losing all hope that I'll ever see us do anything well. So we're not going to win this game. Give me the Titans, and I'm just going to sit and cry. Sadly, this game is at 9:00, so I actually have to watch it. If it was at 6, I'd be playing golf. So fuck this Goodell, fuck Roger Goodell, and fuck Geno Smith. Once again, may I please add that was not in a racist way. Please move on.
Yeah, I will say it's quite funny that the best performance at Allegiant in 2026 is going to be Luke Combs.
Well, the Leeds Rhinos are playing there, I'll have you know.
Yeah, so it's going to be Luke Combs. Next up, the Bucks versus the 49ers. And I don't know about you lot, but it did take me a minute on this one purely because of how good the 49ers were last week. However, I think with Brock Purdy being back, I want to say, I don't know. In all honesty, I don't know if anyone can fact check that. I don't know if Brock Purdy is back or not for this week. They seem to be rotating every week with injury, but Matt Jones had a pretty hefty knock in the game last week against the Rams, and he played through it, so I can't imagine that only aggravated whatever he did. So I'd be surprised to see him on the field after that sort of injury, unless it wasn't as severe as it looked while the game was going on. But yeah, I think I just have to go with the Bucks purely because they were so good against a very good Seahawks team last week. So it's hard to back again. I mean, as Max says, never back against Baker, and I believe you did last week, and it's ended badly. So you haven't made the same mistake twice, I see. But yeah, I'm not going to back against Baker. I just think the Niners, a game like that against the Rams, it doesn't seem to be like with bad teams, it's normally a one-off situation. Not saying the Niners are an awful team, but with all the injuries, they're just not a very good team. And with them sort of teams, them wins don't tend to happen all the time. And I'd be very surprised to see them do it 2 weeks in a row. So I am going to go with the Bucks to beat this one. But yeah, Max, you haven't backed against Baker, looking to not make the same mistake again.
Quickly to answer, you asked for a fact check. This is based off Fantrax, which is what we do our fantasy league on. Brock Purdy is listed as questionable. However, Mac Jones has no injury status, but he's also projected to get 0.12 points currently, which I'm assuming means they think Purdy's playing. My thought process behind this one was simply I said never back against Baker. I backed against Baker and I lost. I'm going back to what I know. It's Baker or nothing, and the Bucs are going to win the Super Bowl, and I hope they do it in the best uniforms in the NFL, the creamsicle. That's what it's called, man. That's what it's called.
I personally didn't really struggle with this game, as good as the Niners were last week. I just think, I say it every week, the Buccaneers have just got something about them where they don't lose the games that they should lose, or shouldn't lose, sorry. The games that they probably shouldn't lose, they just find a way to win. And that's a sign of a good team, if you ask me. So just give me the Bucs. I see no way that they lose this game.
Yeah, I think if Purdy starts, I think ironically they're probably less likely to win than if Matt Jones starts based on the way they've both been playing this year. So if Purdy starts, I'll definitely be happy that this was my pick. But next up, we have the Packers versus the Bengals, and fucking hell, this wasn't a difficult decision. This was almost instant. I suppose, Max, you can go first, but I can't imagine there's all too much to say about this one.
I mean, I could say a few things, but I'll try to keep it quick. Zach Taylor has said that Flacco is expected to start after being traded for yesterday mid-podcast. He could have waited, so we could have brought the news. But, Packers coming off a bye week, coming off a draw before that, or a tie, as the Americans call it. And they'll probably want to get back to winning ways after losing to us and then trying a game. And who better to do it against than whatever the fuck these Tiger weirdos are doing at the minute. It's making me happy, but it's hard to watch. So, yeah, it's that simple, really. I won't go on too much.
Yeah, honestly, I don't have a lot to say about this. Bengals bad, Packers good. That's pretty much what it boils down to. Especially with I don't understand the thought process of the Bengals that when you need to win games, you bring in a quarterback who is notorious for needing a good offensive line, especially at his age, and you're throwing him into probably the worst in the entire NFL.
He's a 40-year-old immobile quarterback, and you're putting him behind a bottom 3 O-line in the entire league. They've not signed his contract. They've signed his death warrant. He's going to die, and now he's got to play against Micah Parsons. He's going to die again. He only had to play against him 2 weeks ago. He's going to die.
This could be an onslaught. Yeah, I'm just going to say I'm going with the Packers, and I hope for Joe Flacco's sake he comes out of this game alive, because I'd be very shocked if he doesn't. I wouldn't be very surprised if he doesn't, because the Packers could have a field day with this Bengals offense. I'll be honest. Kian?
I saw a great tweet about the Bengals that said, I realised I just lagged badly there. He said, How bad does your quarterback play have to be for you to turn to the Browns? That's the answer. And to be honest with you, that sort of sums this organisation up. They've been terrible. And James made a good point of Packers good, Bengals shite, and there's not really much more else to say.
Yeah, we have the worst quarterback situation maybe in the league, and they've turned to us for the answers.
I will say I'm very surprised they didn't even call us about neither Russ or Jameis, because you have to feel they're both better options, especially Jameis being a better option than Joe Flacco. But
I still think one of these quarterback needing teams should go for Kirk Cousins. He's sat right there. He's not going to play this season unless Penix goes down. Why not? He's not a terrible quarterback.
I'm surprised the Falcons haven't openly tried to shift him.
Well, yeah.
Next up, this is probably game of the week, I reckon, if we're talking about potential. Chiefs, Lions. Probably it was a slightly difficult decision for me, but I've sort of had faith in the Lions from pre-season, even at the start of our very first episode of the year when we did our divisional predictions. I had the Lions to win the division, which I believe I was the only one to do so. I just didn't think they'd fall off, and people thought they'd struggle without Ben Johnson and Aaron Glenn. Nice to see it's going very well for both of them at the minute at their respective head coaching jobs. But yeah, I'm going with the Lions because I don't know with the Chiefs. I feel like this is definitely a game the Chiefs could win, but coming off a loss to the Jags, I feel every time you start to think the Chiefs are coming back, they lose a game like that, and then all of a sudden you're back to sort of square one with maybe they're not that good after all. Mahomes was just not very good in that Jags game. Obviously, a 99-yard pick six is not good for anyone involved. And they literally let a man falling over who was notoriously shit at his position, falling over halfway through the play, and he still scores the winning touchdown. So just on that alone, I am going with the Lions to win this one. Max?
The Chiefs are going to go 9-7. but this is not going to be one of the games they win. They're going to go 9-7 and make the playoffs and probably bounce whoever they get in the wild card. But this is not going to be one of the games they win.
Kian?
Yeah, again, I think I've been really impressed with the Lions since they lost in week 1. Ever since that game, they've sort of just looked like the Lions we expect. Whereas the Chiefs, I can't say the same for them. They've struggled. You know, they've won, I think, 2 games. I think they've won, but they have struggled, and they've not looked like the same team. I just think it's going to be more of the same. The Lions are just a level above them for me at the minute. So give me Detroit.
Next up, we have got the Atlanta Falcons versus the Buffalo Bills. And again, another unanimous prediction. We're all going with Buffalo to win this one. I don't know why I had weird thoughts of flipping this one, but common sense sort of prevailed in the end. But the Bills just have been a bit weird at the minute. Obviously, they're coming off a disappointing result to the Patriots. They've been good. I think there's just been a few games where they've not been as convincing as you maybe would have thought, especially the Saints game, as much as they did win it, and it was by 2 scores in the end. You know, the Saints were in that for a long time, which, again, they probably shouldn't ever have been in that game. So it's an interesting one for me with the Bills, but I have to back them because it is the Buffalo Bills. It's Josh Allen. It's very difficult to back against him. But I am very tempted to bench him in fantasy, but apparently that's stupid, even though Jordan Love is playing against the Bengals this week, which could be hilarious. But I feel like they'll score so many points on defense that the offense won't actually have to do anything in that one. But yeah, I'm going with the Bills. I am tempted with the Falcons purely because, I don't know, they're just a weird team, and they either go from being like utter dog shit to being brilliant within a week. They're very weird and hard to predict, but I think there'll just be too much quality in this Buffalo team for them to contain, especially on the defensive side of the ball for the Falcons. I think they'll struggle. Max?
It's more prime time football for the Bills, and I think after last week, obviously losing to the Patriots in a game that a lot of people thought they'd win, especially in Buffalo, they've now got to go to Atlanta on prime time and try and get the win, and I think they will. I don't think they'll struggle too hard. Atlanta coming off a bye week, so I've not got too much to say about them really, but they've been an up and down team this season. Bijan Robinson obviously can always make a difference, but so can James Cook. It'll be an interesting, run game versus run game match. Yeah, I think I want to see a bit more from Josh Allen this season. I can't lie. You know, he's the MVP, and so far the only game that he's really impressed me in has been that shootout with Lamar Jackson. Against some of the lesser teams, he's not really showed out like I thought he would so far, which is, it's weird, but I think he'll probably get into the swing of things, especially as it comes towards the colder months and playoff time.
Yeah, I fucking hope he does as well, because he's pissing me off quickly in fantasy every week. Kian?
I'm not sure we've seen this Bills team get out of gear 1, bar week 1 currently. They're just sort of cruising through. They've got a pretty easy schedule, so they're just sort of finding a way. I think that came back to bite them. They know they can play so much better than that, and I realised I've just lagged again.
It was fine. It was mostly.
They can play much better than that, and I think they will play much better than that, and I think they'll win this game.
And finally, I have 2 things to say about this last game. Fuck the Commanders and bear down. Give me the Bears.
Wow.
Yeah, I've been against it a lot, but I fucking hate the Washington Commanders, and it's purely just filled off rage and agenda. I also just don't think they've been very good. Obviously, they're coming off winning against the Chargers, but they've been crap in the last 2 games. So, again, not as impressive as maybe it looks on paper. The Bears are in desperate need of a win. They know that. They're in a very competitive division. If they don't win this, they fall away and the season basically ends. And Ben Johnson is going to want to get a win on the board, especially against a team like the Commanders, who I think have a defense weak enough that they can take advantage of that with a very, exciting offensive game at times, or at least in an ideal world, he wants it to be an exciting offense. So I think this is the time to sort of explore them sort of different options as Ben Johnson and really go for a win. And I think they'll get it. It was more, again, we needed some difference in predictions. This would have been the most boring video of all time. But I also do actually believe in this one that it could happen. I just think there's just weaknesses in that Commanders team, especially on the defense side of the ball. The secondary is terrible. And, if you get players like Rome Odunze has the second most receiving touchdowns in the entire NFL through 5 games. DeAndre Swift can get going, then he's very, very dangerous on the run game as well. But I think this is going to be a huge game for Rome Odunze. I'm going for Odunze over 100 yards and the Bears to beat the Commanders.
I can't believe this might be the first time ever that James has been the only one to pick the Bears.
I think so as well, yeah.
As you all know, me and Kian, we love the Bears. We're best friends with Caleb and Rome and DeAndre. You know, they're our best friends. We talk all the time. But I was swayed by Washington in this. I feel like they waltzed past the Chargers with some ease. I think they'd probably won that game last week, even if Mariota had started. Jane Daniels didn't really have to do too much. He didn't have to go into that next gear. So I think even if it gets a bit trickier, they'll probably still be able to clutch up and get a win, as we saw them do a few times last year. And they obviously need to start mounting up some wins, as the Cowboys look pretty strong. And obviously the Eagles are the Eagles. They're going to get wins and probably finish top of that division. So yeah, give me the Commanders, unfortunately. But
what about the Giants? I'm joking. Okay,
buddy.
Kid.
I'll be honest, the Commanders, they impressed me on last Sunday. I didn't think they really had that in them this season. I've been pretty disheartened by them. You know, they're a team I actually quite like to watch. But they looked really, I thought they looked good on Sunday. If you actually look at the Bears, their win against us came off a blocked field goal, which is bad when you're playing against us because we are terrible. So I just don't really see a way the Bears win this game. And to be honest with you, their run defense is awful. So I think Crosby Merritt will also have a good day. So give me the Commanders.
Again, I'm just purely doing this off agenda. I fucking hate the Commanders, so I really hope I'm right, because it would be really funny if they lost to the Bears of all teams. Bears could actually, I believe, because they were on a bye, they could actually move to a positive record if they win this game, because I believe they're 2-2. So that would be funny to see the Bears on 3-2 after what's been a pretty dismal season, all things considered.
It's not been that bad. I picked up. No, I didn't. No, never mind. I thought I got DeAndre Swift in a trade, but I think I got Montgomery instead. But that's not relevant.
That is our predictions done. The question is, do we have a question?
I haven't got one.
You haven't?
No, because I told you I did it last time. It's not my turn.
It's not.
I haven't got one because I'm lagging so bad.
I feel like if you're lagging, you need to be the one to ask the question, because otherwise you're going to be answering like a 20-second delay.
Yeah, but then my answers, when you're saying your answers to me, I'm not going to be able to count them properly.
Point, actually. If we don't have a question, then I believe that is all we have got for this week.
Wrap it up.
So thank you very much to Max and Kian for joining me as always, and we will see you all next week for our What We Have Learned video for week 6.